Okay, I just want to kind of go over the homework just to kind of give you a little bit more specific assistance to get you going with this, especially for the early chapter 2. So if you go in, I like to go into modules. We can go into, um, you know, uh, the home area and go to module 1 or whatever. But if you go into student data sets, you'll see the data sets that are listed here that you'll need for chapters 2 through 7 for this course. Then when we go to look at our textbook, you can see the assignments and the different problems that are going to be due. So the wine depot, Kelly's boutique, and then the first assignment, right? The what's up, that's a SUP for stand-up paddle board. If you've ever never done that, you should try it. It's fun. All right, so for this problem, for example, you're not going to have a data set to start with because you're to create a trial balance. It says start with a blank spreadsheet, but then name it chapter 2-03 and then put your name here. So just to show you what I'm talking about, when you go into chapter 2's data set, you see 2-1, 2-2. There's no 2-3, right? So that's because you're supposed to create a blank one. And then all you're doing is following the instructions as they state the problem, just doing an alphabetical listing of the accounts. Then at the end it says print the worksheet in value view and in formula view. Well, excuse me, you're not going to be printing anything, so all you're doing is submitting the work to me. I'm going to look at the problem, looking at the values, and then I'll switch over and look at it as formula. So you don't need to worry about doing the printing it in value view and in formula view. If for whatever change, if something happens that changes, if I need you to save it in 2 different formats in the future, I would let you know. But for now, that's definitely not something we need to worry about. For part 2 of this assignment, it says use the student file chapter 2-04. So I'm looking at the data sets I downloaded and we see chapter 2-04. So if I open that up, I see, the information I need here to do the problem and to create it. Again, we don't need to print this out in value and in formula view. Just to clarify that, see how it says print in value view and then print in formula view. Just submit the worksheet to me using, your name and submit it into the course as you normally would. So when you're doing the assignment, let's say, you're doing this assignment. I'm just making that formula up. I can switch back and forth and I can see, the formula in formula view, or I can switch it back and see it in value view. So that's the way I'll do it to make sure that you do the problem right. You don't need to do it. You don't need to worry about doing that and printing it out or anything like that. So for Kelly's boutique case, you see they give you the background of the case and they tell you use that worksheet, chapter 2-05. So there's the worksheet you need for that one. For the wine depot, they tell you use chapter 2-06 as your starting point. Basically, once you have the data sets that you need, you're just following the instructions and just doing what they say. It's very similar to the work they do inside the chapter. Just follow the instructions, do it step by step, and you shouldn't have any major trouble. I mean, there's a lot of wordiness here, but if you just take your time and read through it, it tells you exactly what you need to do. Make sure you save all your work on a cloud. So, for example, Google Drive or Dropbox has free space for you to save your work. If you do that and your computer crashes or you have some other kind of technical problem, then hey, you don't have any issue with getting your work in. I'm not going to give extensions if your computer crashes, or I'm not going to give you an extension if your file gets corrupted, because I want you to save this information on Dropbox or some other cloud service like Google Drive. It's very important that you learn to do that anyhow. It's really important in business. You don't want to save your work in that's sensitive information that can be that's really important that doesn't get lost on a crash computer. For a professional reason, you want to keep it saved on the cloud drive. I know that sounds kind of confusing, but what I'm trying to say is it needs to be protected. So save it with a cloud. Also, if your computer crashes, if you can go to any other computer, you have your textbook, you have your work, if you don't have internet access, no big deal. If you downloaded your data sets, you can still do the assignments without having internet access. So it's really important that you keep that in mind so that you can continue to do your assignments and get them in on time per school policy. I think that's a good way of getting you started for this week. I'll let you know if there's anything else, and just continue to check your assignments, announcements, do your discussion boards, and if I provide any other videos, make sure you watch them.